They turned a mosque into this and buried the secret in plain sight. Seville Cathedral isn't just the biggest Gothic cathedral in the world. It's a layered puzzle of conquest, faith, and obsession. A monument that rose from the ruins of a mosque designed to shock the future with its impossible scale. And hidden within its walls, clues left behind by Moors, monarchs, masons, and maybe something more. Hey, I'm James, but online I go by Andrade. In this series, I travel, sometimes in person, sometimes through deep dives like this, to the world's most iconic and enigmatic landmarks. As I sketch them live, this one in watercolor, we uncover not just their architecture and history, but also their hidden symbols, strange legends, and even the conspiracies that make them truly unforgettable. Today's focus is Seville Cathedral, a place where Islamic arches still whisper beneath Christian grandeur, where Christopher Columbus is entombed in controversy, and where the blueprint may have been drawn with something other than God in mind. From its dizzying altarpiece, the largest on earth, to the haunting Giralda bell tower, this place is a physical argument between power and beauty. And the more you look, the more it feels like it's watching you back. Let's sketch our way into mystery because nothing in Seville was placed here by accident. The story of Seville Cathedral doesn't begin with Christianity. It begins with conquest, conversion, and a relentless desire to leave a mark on history. Before it was a cathedral, the site was home to the Great Mosque of Seville, constructed in 1184 during the rule of the Almohad Caliphate, a powerful North African Muslim dynasty that ruled much of southern Spain. The mosque wasn't just a place of worship. It was the spiritual heart of the Islamic Seville, complete with a san courtyard, a minaret, and a hypostyle prayer hall that echoed the architectural rhythm of Cordoba and North Africa. In 1248, King Ferdinand III of Castile reconquered Seville during the Christian Reconquista, a centuries-long campaign to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. Rather than demolish the mosque immediately, the Christians consecrated it and used it as their cathedral for more than a century. Some elements like the Giralda minaret and Patio de los Naranjos were preserved, Islamic bones now wrapped in Christian rituals. By the late 14th century, seismic damage to the old mosque structure gave Christian leaders a reason or an excuse to rebuild. They declared, quote, "Let us build a church so beautiful and so magnificent that those who see it finished will think we are mad," unquote. This wasn't poetic exaggeration, it was a mission statement. In 1401, construction began on what would become the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. The project was a complete overhaul, no simple renovation. The original mosque was dismantled brick by brick with select features integrated into the new Christian monument. Over a century and a half, teams of artisans, stonemasons, and visionaries poured themselves into what would stand as the most awe-inspiring religious structure in Spain. As Seville's power surged during the Age of Exploration, the cathedral's purpose evolved. No longer just a religious site, it became an emblem of empire, declaring to Europe and the heavens that Seville was the crown jewel of Christian Spain. And though its walls are solid stone, they whisper of its origins, Islamic arches, Christian ambition, and a layered legacy carved deep into its foundations. Seville Cathedral is an architectural paradox, deeply Gothic in ambition, yet layered with Medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque influences. Its sheer scale alone commands reverence, stretching 443 feet in length with a central nave that soars to 138 feet. But it's the details that reveal the soul of the structure. The cathedral follows the Latin cross plan common in Gothic design, but it feels more open and fluid than its Northern European cousins. 5 longitudinal naves run the length of the interior, a rare feature separated by massive pointed arches resting on towered clustered columns. These pillars don't just hold up the roof, they funnel the eye towards the heavens, making the space feel infinite. One of the most iconic features is the Giralda Tower, originally the mosque's minaret, now transformed into the cathedral's bell tower. At nearly 340 feet, it fuses Islamic geometry with Renaissance ornamentation. Its base is pure almohad, intricate brick latticework, horseshoe arches, while its top was added in the 16th century, capped with a colossal bronze weather vane called El Giraldillo, symbolizing faith's triumph. Inside, altarpieces erupt like golden mountains. The retablo mayor, or main altarpiece, is the largest in the world, standing over 60 feet tall and glittering with life-size biblical scenes, carved from wood and coated in gold leaf. It took master carver Pieter Dancart and his successors nearly a century to complete, with over 1,000 individual figures telling the story of Christ from nativity to resurrection. The choir stalls, made from dark walnut and mahogany, are a masterclass in narrative carving, featuring mythical beasts, saints, demons, and grotesques that feel pulled from the pages of an illuminated manuscript. Meanwhile, side chapels and sacristies are dressed in Renaissance and Baroque opulence, boasting oil paintings by Murillo, Zurbarán, and even a Goya tucked within the walls. But despite its grandeur, Seville Cathedral is full of contradictions. Stained glass windows burst with color, but rarely overwhelm. Stone grotesques leer from rooftops, while angels dance on golden panels. It's a place where Islamic symmetry, Gothic verticality, and Baroque drama collide. And somehow, it all works. The cathedral doesn't just impress, it overwhelms, disorients, and then humbles, like walking through a living dream, sculpted from stone, fire, and light. Step through Seville's cathedral's grand bronze doors, and the scale instantly stuns. The space feels more like a cosmic vault than a church. Its vast central nave, one of the tallest in Europe, stretches upward into dim, soaring vaults, making visitors feel impossibly small beneath the ribs of stone. Light filters down in fractured beams through 80-plus stained glass windows, some dating back to the 1500s, creating pools of glowing reds, blues, and golds across the stone floor. What's striking is how movement and atmosphere shape your perception here. Unlike more symmetrical or rigid cathedrals, Seville's interior feels like a labyrinth of experience. One moment you're enveloped in silence beside the alabaster tomb of Christopher Columbus, the next you're swept into gold-lit awe before the towering retablo mayor. Spatial contrast is part of the design, meant to evoke reverence, mystery, and dramatic emotional shifts. Acoustically, the cathedral behaves like an ancient musical instrument. Sounds don't just echo, they linger and shimmer, with a delay that can stretch more than 7 seconds. When the choir sings or the organ erupts from the upper galleries, it's less music and more a full-body immersion. These sonic properties were intentional. In medieval theology, echoes were believed to represent divine presence, the voice of God reverberating through sacred space. The Capilla Real, the royal chapel, stands as a sanctuary within the sanctuary. Here, an ornate dome casts light in near-perfect radial symmetry over the tombs of Castilian monarchs, including King Ferdinand III, canonized as a saint. The stillness of this chamber creates a pressure of silence as if time itself bows in reverence. There's also the Patio de los Naranjos, the old mosque courtyard that remains integrated into the cathedral complex. Lined with orange trees and centered around a Moorish fountain, it introduces open air, birdsong, and sunlight, a sacred pause amid Gothic drama. From this courtyard, you can see the Giralda Tower from below, its latticed brickwork glowing pink-orange at sunset. Inside the Seville Cathedral, you don't just see architecture, you feel it. Every shift in light, every sudden shadow, every whispered prayer bouncing off the stone transforms the building into an active participant in your experience. It's not just space, it's stagecraft, and you're being guided emotionally, spiritually, whether you realize it or not. Seville Cathedral is more than just a monument. It's a symbolic machine. Every statue, every golden niche, every illuminated relic was placed with intentional meaning. The most commanding symbol sits just past the main entrance, the Retablo Mayor, the largest Gothic altarpiece in the world. Standing 65 feet high and covered in shimmering gold leaf, this structure isn't just decoration, it's a spiritual roadmap. Over 40 scenes from the life of Christ, carved and painted in obsessive detail, guide the viewer through a journey of death, resurrection, and divine triumph. Nearby stands a marble tomb guarded by 4 bronze kings, a supposed final resting place of Christopher Columbus. His body's journey has long been debated, moved across continents, reburied, and exhumed, almost as if the man himself were fated to never rest, much like the age of exploration he helped ignite. DNA tests and historical documents continue to stir up mystery, and his tomb in Seville has become a lightning rod for conversation about legacy, conquest, and truth. Above, the ceiling, bosses, and keystones are covered with cryptic motifs, suns, moons, inverted crowns, and vines that appear to spiral in Fibonacci ratios. Many scholars believe these decorations were coded references to divine order, echoing the Renaissance obsession with sacred geometry. They served as a visual catechism for those who could read them, a symbolic language etched into the very bones of the cathedral. The Virgin of the Kings, Virgen de los Reyes, Seville's patron saint, is housed within the royal chapel and venerated with almost supernatural devotion. Legend claims her statue was sculpted by angels and that her body remained incorrupt after death. Every August, during the city's most sacred procession, she's paraded through the streets, her jeweled crown shimmering like a beacon, her presence believed to bring protection and fertility. Even lesser-known areas are steeped in symbolism. The Sacristia Mayor, or Great Sacristy, features sculptures by Pedro de Campana that depict not just biblical stories, but emotional human struggle, rage, grief, awe, carved into stone. The tension in these figures reflects a shift from medieval iconography toward Renaissance humanism, blending sacred messaging with raw psychological depth. In Seville Cathedral, nothing is arbitrary. Even the shadows speak, falling at certain times to frame saints, faces, or highlight certain altars. A quiet reminder that symbolism here isn't just visual, it's spatial, temporal, experimental. A language of meaning, centuries old, still whispering to anyone willing to slow down and listen. At first glance, Seville Cathedral overwhelms with its sheer immensity, but beneath the spectacle lies a framework of mathematical precision. The cathedral's floor plan forms a modified Latin cross, and its symmetry isn't accidental. Medieval builders believed geometry was a mirror of divine perfection. Everything from the placement of pillars to the curve of the vaults adheres to hidden ratios, particularly the golden mean, believed to reflect the proportions of the cosmos itself. The main nave rises nearly 138 feet, but what's more astonishing is how the Gothic ribbed vaulting channels weight, distributing tons of stone outward and downward like a tree rooting into the earth. This engineering allowed walls to be replaced by vast stained glass, flooding the space with celestial light. These ribs intersect in star-shaped webs, visually reinforcing the mystical nature of the architecture and drawing the eye upward to the spiritual ascent. Even the columns defy logic. They stand like stone forests, tall, slender, and seemingly weightless. But every carve and curve was painstakingly calculated using medieval geometry and early trigonometry. Builders who would have used chords, compasses, and sight lines, tools inherited from Islamic and Roman traditions, adapted into a Christian framework. The Giralda Tower, originally a 12th century minaret, is an architectural anomaly, a vertical blend of Moorish, Gothic, and Renaissance. Its ascending ramps, not stairs, were designed so muezzins could ride horseback to the top to deliver the call to prayer. This same spiral logic was later reinterpreted to serve Christians' bell ringers. The very shape of the tower, tapering toward a bronze statue of faith at the pinnacle, speaks to a spiral journey from earth to heaven, a kind of sacred ascension encoded in brick. The cathedral's design also contains acoustic geometry. Certain chapels are placed at angles that reflect chant vibrations, and niches behind the main altar act like resonance chambers, amplifying sacred sound. Whether intentional or discovered through trial and error, these phenomena gave the cathedral a living voice, its structure literally singing the Mass. Ultimately, Seville Cathedral isn't just large, it's smart. It encodes the best of medieval science, Islamic mathematics, and Renaissance experimentation into a single living blueprint. Every stone, angle, and echo serves a purpose, revealing a vision not just of God, but of human ingenuity reaching upward, daring to measure the infinite. Behind Seville Cathedral's grandeur lies a shadow network of symbolism, a layer of secrets not found on tourist plaques. Local lore whispers that the cathedral was built on ley lines, energetic currents said to connect the world's sacred sites. Some esoteric historians claim the placement of the Giralda aligns with pre-Christian solar observatories, suggesting the site has been charged with mystical purpose for centuries before Christianity ever arrived. At the cathedral's heart lies a bizarre contradiction. It's a Christian stronghold built atop a Muslim mosque, which in turn may have been laid over pagan ruins. This layering has led to theories that the site acts as a spiritual capacitor, collecting belief systems and amplifying their energy. Alchemists in the 17th century referred to Seville as the city of folded light, hinting at the idea that these architectural layers created portals of higher understanding hidden in plain sight. Strange carvings dot the interior. In particular, one gargoyle near the Puerta del Perdón is said to represent Baphomet, the horned deity associated with the Knights Templar. Though its form is officially labeled as a demonic grotesque, occult researchers argue its geometry and placement suggest a hidden invitation, a call to those who, quote, have eyes to see, to begin initiation. Then there are the secrets of the Giralda itself. Beneath the bell tower's foundations, rumors speak of a sealed crypt, not of saints but of scrolls. In the 1800s, an excavation uncovered fragments of what may have been Arabic manuscripts and Hebrew mysticism, but they vanished before any translation. One theory suggests they were Kabbalistic texts smuggled from Cordoba's Jewish quarter, hidden to avoid destruction during the Inquisition. Even the famous tomb of Christopher Columbus, said to rest within Seville Cathedral, is a source of conspiratorial heat. Not only is his body's authenticity debated, some say it was never moved from the Caribbean, but his burial under a gigantic heraldic sculpture showing 4 kings carrying his coffin has sparked theories. The design is said to encode alchemical principles, the 4 kings as the 4 elements, Columbus as the philosopher's stone, a man who crossed the boundaries of known world and spirit. Most chilling of all is the legend of La Dama Oscura, the Dark Lady, cloaked in black and appearing only at midnight mass. She's said to be an echo of a noble woman who studied forbidden texts beneath the cathedral and vanished into the crypts. Eyewitnesses report seeing her glide silently behind the altar. Whether ghost, archetype, or psychological imprint, her presence underscores the cathedral's most occult truth. Not all who enter Seville Cathedral leave untouched. Some awaken to something they weren't supposed to see. For over 5 centuries, Seville Cathedral has been more than a monument. It's been a witness to conquest, a canvas for empires, and a labyrinth of belief systems layered like sediment beneath its Gothic skin. From the minaret turned bell tower of the Giralda to the strange relics and whispered hauntings inside its chapels, this cathedral doesn't just tell Spain's story, it absorbs it. Sketching it, you feel the weight of transformation, mosque to cathedral, shadow to light, and back again. It's not just a place of worship, it's a living cipher, a structure holding contradictions, symbols, and secrets that stretch beyond religion and deep into the esoteric roots of civilization. If you want to join me as we uncover more of the world's greatest cathedrals and landmarks, bringing them to life on paper while unraveling their history, myths, and stranger secrets, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next sketch and story episode. Turn on the bell so YouTube actually lets you know when I'm live or upload. Like this video so more explorers, artists, and history lovers can discover it. And please tell me in the comments, would you dare explore the catacombs of Seville alone at night? Or would you rather not find out what still lingers beneath the stones? Either way, we've got more cathedrals and mysteries ahead, and I'll be here brush in hand, bringing them to life with you.